Hello everyone. Welcome to the fifth day of tutorial class on digital communication. Okay. So in our earlier class, we have discussed about the pulse code modulation. Okay. So using basically PCM is nothing but a source encoding technique where we convert a continuous analog signal into digital one. Okay. Now to improve the efficiency of pulse code modulation, we can use another source encoding technique that is known as differential pulse code modulation or DPCM. However, to know or to understand the operating principle of differential pulse code modulation, we need to know the operation of linear predictor initially. So let's go to the operation of linear predictor. Okay, so at the name suggest predictor, that means can we predict the next sample data from the previous one? Okay, so yes, we can do that, and if we can do that, the system can be called as predictor. Okay, now in mathematics that can also known as interpolation. Okay, so uh, in case of sampling, we can predict next sample data, okay, from the previous sampled value. Why? Because sampled value are not independent. Okay, they follow a particular pattern of original analog signal. Suppose consider sinusoidal signal. So obviously a sinusoidal signal has a particular pattern that its magnitude is going from +1 to -1 like this. Okay, so uh, obviously all these data are not independent, they had great deal of redundancy among them. Okay, so therefore if you want to predict the next sample data mt plus ts, okay, from the previous data for a signal mt, so you can express mt plus ts, that means next sample value, using Taylor series as this formula. So mt plus ts equal to mt plus ts m dot t plus ts square by 2 factorial m double t plus tsq 3 factorial m dmq by dtq. Okay, so these are the basically first order derivative, second order derivative, third order derivative, and this will be continuing up to infinite. Okay, now, if you use a large sampling value, that means if the value of fs is very large, now if you suppose consider the sampling frequency in the range of megahertz, so in that case, ts, that is nothing but 1 by fs. So value of ts will be in the range of 1 into 10 to the power minus 6. So if we substitute that value in this equation, so the power of mm, uh, those small value will be become very small, that is negligible. So suppose t square will be in 10 to the power minus 12 range, and tsq will be 10 to the power minus 18 range like this. So obviously the contribution of those term will be very negligible. So by neglecting the higher order terms, we can approximate this Taylor series like this, mt plus ts m dot t. Okay, so this is basically first order equation. Okay, so if we can know the value of m dot t, that means dmt by dt, so we can easily predict the value of mt plus ts, that means the value at next time instant. Now for the simplification, or we can consider or we can define kth sample of mt as mk. Okay, remember mt is a continuous value. Now if we make discretized, we can substitute t with the help with kts. Now for simplification or simple writing purpose, we express mkts like m k in third bracket. Okay, okay. Similarly, m kts plus minus ts we can call, you can also write m k plus minus 1. Obviously this one will minus 1. Okay, and so on. So now as per the definition of derivative, dm kts by dts, that is nothing but the differences between mkts and previous sample divided by dts, that means time period, dt, that means time differences between two sampling point, that is nothing but time period. So it can be written as like this: mkts minus ts divided by ts. So by using this type of notation, we can write m dot k equal to mk minus 1 divided by ts. Now substituting this m dot k in the earlier equation, where mk mk plus 1 equal to mk plus ts m dot k. So we can substitute, you can write that mk plus equal to mk plus ts multiplied by m dot k. That means this value is substituted like this, and ts can be cancelled, and we get 2 mk minus 1. Okay, so you can see that we can easily determine the next sample value from the previous given data. Okay, so if we, this is basically first order equation. Now in general, if you use nth order equation for linear predictor, and we can write like the predicted value m cap k as equal to a1 mk minus 1 plus a2 mk minus 2 a3 mk minus 3 up to an mk minus n. Okay, so this is the equation for nth order linear predictor, where a1 a2 a3, these are the called prediction coefficient, which can be determined by the defined statistical correlation from the various sample, and the corresponding block diagram of linear predictor are showing like this. Okay, so here you can see that we use the term that almost equal. That means as we are predicting and corresponding value, and neglecting the higher order terms, so obviously it is not exactly as the same as the original one, but it will closely equal to. Okay, so this is the basically the equation for the prediction of mk. Now here you can see that mk minus 1, mk minus 2, what is this? Basically these are nothing but the delay from the original one. That means delay of ts of mk, that becomes mk minus 1. Okay, so delay of mk minus 2, that becomes, sorry, of 2 time period, that becomes mk minus 2. Okay, so how can we make the predictor, the block diagram? You can see the input is mk. Okay, now first term we need to produce a1 mk minus 1, so if we give some kind of delay ts, so it, the output, corresponding output become mk minus 1, and if we multiply it by a1, so this output will be a1 mk minus 1. Okay, uh, so here the output is mk minus 1, then again it delayed by ts, so obviously the value will be mk minus 2, and it is multiplied by a2, and it go to the sum section. Okay, and ultimately we get a1 mk minus 1, a2 mk minus 2, plus it will continue up to an mk minus 1. So basically this one is the linear predictor, where we can predict the next sampling value from the previous one. Okay, now coming to the differential pulse width modulation. So why do we initially learn about the linear predictor? Because in case of differential pulse width modulation, we can use the we have to use linear predictor. So first of all we learn the linear predictor operation, then we can go to the differential pulse width modulation technique for source encoding. Okay, now uh, consider the case of PCM. So in case of PCM, uh, we use, or we discretized initially, and after discretization we encode discretization, we use quantizer and then we encode them in the natural binary coding. Okay, so in that case, during quantization, we use the uh, defined number of quantization voltage level. If the peak of the amplitude or peak of the input is very large, so obviously we need to use more number of quantization level. That means we need to use more number of bit. Okay, but uh, if in case of differential pulse code modulation, instead of sending the original quantized natural sorry instead of sending digitized value of original quantized value of the signal, we if we send the difference between two successive instance, then obviously we can reconstruct or predict at the receiver section from the previous sample and sample value. So consider mk is the kth sample. Okay, now instead of transmitting mk, okay, at different instance, that is normal that is used in normal PCM, because not transmitting mk, we can transmit the difference between two successive sample like dk. Here we use dk equal to mk minus mk minus 1. Okay, that means difference between two successive instant. Okay, now in our receiver section we just receive this value of dk and add them the previous sample value mk minus that is available to the receiver section, and we get the original value mk. Now, what is the benefit of this approach? Because if we make difference between two successive sample, obviously the peak amplitude become this error or difference or decay signal will low become reduced. Okay, so the peak to peak amplitude of original signal is very larger than the peak to peak amplitude of the difference signal, that is decay. Okay, so obviously it needs less number of bits for encoding to encode this decay. That means using, and this approach is known as the differential pulse code modulation, where we are sending the digitized value corresponding to the differences of two successive sample point. Okay, so that is the different, that's why we are using the term differential. Okay, the difference between two successive sample. So for this purpose, as the peak to peak amplitude is reduced, we need less number of bits to encode. Okay, so for that, so that is the one of the major advantage of DPCM over the PCM. Moreover, we know that step size, that is 2 MP by L, as MP, and moreover quantization noise in del V square by 12. So as MP means peak to peak value. So as in case of DPCM, value of MP is reduced. So obviously quantization noise in case of DPCM is lower than PCM. Moreover, SNR is also depending on the value of MP. Okay, sorry, SNR is also depending on the value of noise, value of N. As the quantization noise is reduced in case of DPCM, so obviously SNR, which is which denotes the quality of a communication system, that is improved. Okay, due to the decreasing of quantization noise. Okay, so that is the basic operation or basic concept of DPCM, differential pulse code modulation. Now, now uh, we can improve further. So how can we improve we can improve further the efficiency of DPCM? Instead of sending the difference between two successive sampling point, we can send the difference between the current sample value of the input, that is mk, with its predicted value, and its predicted value can be calculated from by using simple linear predictor. So obviously here the value of decay is reduced further. That means lesser quantization noise, more improved SNR. Okay. So what we have to use, you need to use a predictor in the transmitter section where you can use that predictor to predict the value of MK from the previous value, and you need to also use another predictor in the receiver section that is also used in receiver section, that and after adding the value of DK with the M cap K, we can get the original value. Okay. Now, so obviously this process is uh, much better than the previous DPCM system, where we can we send the error between two successive sample instant, but here we sending the differences between its original value and its predicted value. Obviously the difference is as much lower than the earlier cases, but there is another problem in here. So what is the problem? Basically, at the receiver section, uh, instead of the past sample mk minus 1, mk minus 2, these values are not available. What we have their quantized value, because after sampling, obviously we need to use the quantizer. So obviously all those available value are mq k minus 1, mq k minus 2, where q denote the quantized value. So so what is available to us at the receiver section to predict to in the linear predictor, mq k minus 1, mq k minus 2. So we can predict quantized value of the mk, not mk, not the m cap k. Okay. So due to this, there is a for this purpose there will be some kind of noise in the receiver section. Okay. So to deal with this noise or to remove this kind of noise, a better strategy is to determine m cap qk, that means estimated quantized value of mk at the transmitter from the its quantized value. Okay. And we sending the difference as dk equal to mk minus m cap qk. Okay. So difference between original signal and predicted quantized value is the current difference, which whose encoded version has been sent to the channel. Okay. So here you can see that dk equal to mk minus mqk cap. Okay, difference. Now after using the quantizer, it will become dqk. Okay, so dqk will become mqk minus mqk cap. If we make quantization of this equation, obviously all the part will be quantized. Okay, so it will become dqk equal to mqk minus mqk cap. Okay, so now mqk is nothing but dqk plus mqk cap. Okay. Now again, so just using these equation, now just using these equation, we can uh, explain the block diagram of differential pulse code modulation. So first of all, you can say that mk is the original sampled value. So this one is the original value. If we make difference between mk minus mqk minus 1, so mqk cap, that means this is the quantized and estimated value of mk. So there is suppose there is a adder, but this one is the negative subtractor, this one is the subtractor section. So mk minus mqk, that is nothing but dk. So as per equation you can build this. Now if dk is passing through dq quantizer, obviously it will become dqk. So this one is the dqk, and the encoded version of quantized value of this difference signal is sent to the channel. Okay. Now coming to the this equation, now question arise how we can achieve this mqk. Now to achieve this predicted value, we need to use a predictor. Now you can see that MQK is summation of DQK plus MQK cap. That means this one is the MQK cap. As per this equation, subtractor portion the input will be MQK cap. So if we use another adder where one input is MQK cap, another input is DQK. Okay, so if you add them as per this equation, you can get MQK. So MQK equal to DQK plus MQK cap. So ultimately the output will be MQK. Okay, now uh, how can we get MQK? So basically this is some kind of feedback system. Okay, so if you give this value to the predictor where the previous output value are also stored, we can get MQK cap, predicted value. So MK is the original signal, MQQ is the quantized predicted value. The difference between them are the difference signal, and if it is passed through the quantizer, it will become the quantized difference signal. The encoded version has been sent to the channel. Now using that difference quantized difference signal, we add them to the predicted value and we get the quantized value. And if the quantized value is passing through the predicted, we get the predicted quantized value of MK. And this is uh, continued like a feedback system. Okay, so this is the DPCM transmitter section. Okay, so obviously here you can see that this quantized value of difference signal is nothing but original difference signal plus quantization. So whenever we made quantization, obviously there will be some kind of quantization error that will be introduced in the signal. So in that case we can say that DQK consists of two part. One is the prediction difference, another is the quantization error. Okay, so this one is the block diagram of DPCM, where we send the difference between original sample value and its predicted quantized value. Okay, and we send the encoded version of quantized difference signal to the channel. Now in receiver section we need to reconstruct the original signal from the incoming DQK. Incoming quantized difference signal is input to a adder, to an adder, you can see here. So if we add DQK with the predicted value or predicted and quantized value of MK, then obviously we can get the original output like MQK. Okay, so here we can write MQK is nothing but its predicted value plus error value. Okay, if we add predicted value with the current difference value, so obviously we can get the quantized value of that signal. So MQK equal to MQK cap plus DQK. Okay, now as per the from the earlier equation we can substitute MQK equal to MK minus DK. Okay, so we can write that and minus dk plus dqq, this is nothing but quantization error. So mqk is mk plus qk. So obviously the output will be mqk quantization error, quantized value of mk, that consists of mk plus quantization error. So quantized sample value with the sample value plus quantization error. So just from this equation we can explain the receiver section, where there is adder, and in adder one input is dqk and that is the mqk cap. How can we get the mqk cap? Basically we need to use a predictor. So the corresponding output will be mqk. So obviously if the input of the predictor is mqk, and we could get the mqk cap as predictor, and we also and it will also continue in the like feedback loop, and we get the quantized version of the original signal at the receiver section. Obviously this one is also in discrete value. So obviously we learn about the linear predictor and difference DPCM um, in this current class, and we know we can also see that there are some kind of advantages of DPCM over PCM system. Okay, so these are the some references. In the in next class we'll discuss another source encoding technique, that is delta modulation, okay, which is further advantage over DPCM system. Okay, so thank you everyone. If you have any question, please post your query. Thank you.